words of Jesus from the cross. John chapter 19, verses 26 and 27. John chapter 19, verse 26 says, When Jesus therefore saw his mother and the disciples standing by, whom he loved, he said unto his mother, Woman, behold thy son. Then saith he to the disciple, Behold thy mother. And notice this, and from that hour that disciple took her unto his own home. As you all know, Jesus spoke 7 times from the cross. The first words were a prayer. Jesus was praying for his enemies. The second word that he spoke from the cross was to the penitent thief. The thief recognized Jesus as the Son of God, and he says, Lord, when you come into your kingdom, remember me. And Jesus said, Today shalt thou be with me in paradise. Tonight we hear him speaking to his mother and to the beloved disciple John. And to his mother, as I say it again, he says, Behold thy son. And to John he says, Behold thy mother. But we need to remember that the thief, Mary, nor John is a central figure in the Calvary's story. Jesus looks down and sees his mother standing near the cross. And by her side was standing there was the disciple John. We don't know, it doesn't say how close they were to the cross. But the scriptures tells us that they were by the cross. And now Jesus, as he's hanging there on the cross, he lifts his voice and he says to his mother, Woman, look at John. From now on, he's going to be your son. Then he spoke to John. He said, John, from now on, she is going to be your mother. Then we were told that from that hour, as I read a moment ago, that John took her to his own home. I want you to picture what's taking place during this time. The first thing I think of is Mary's love for her son, Jesus. His disciples had deserted him. His friends had forsaken him. His nation had rejected him. His enemies had cried out for his blood. But his mother stood there by the cross. Jesus is bleeding his life away. But there is his mother, beholding all that was happening to her son. She did not faint. She did not run away. She was bound to Jesus by the golden chains of love. And so she stood loyally by the cross. And also, secondly, I want you to notice that in his dying moments, Jesus he was not thinking about himself, but he was thinking about his mother. He was caring for his mother. When you look at that, Jesus wanted to take care of his mother before he died. And he says, Mary, to Mary, go with John and be his mother. And then Johnny says, take her and be her son. Even in his dying moments, he was going to make sure that his mother was taken care of. And think about this. Jesus was not willing to die to leave anything undone. He had come to the earth, and he had accomplished everything that his Father had told him to do. And he was not going to die, leave anything undone. So he arranged for his mother's future. Here is Jesus doing the greatest thing that was ever done upon this earth, dying for sinful humanity, dying for our sin. Yet he does not overlook his responsibilities. He takes care of his mother. Jesus always does the right thing. No one could ever say that he neglected his mother. Satan couldn't accuse him of that. He didn't neglect his mother. Even in his darkest hour of life, Jesus stopped, dying long enough to do the right thing about his mother. And let me say you this, you that still have your parents here with you. If you're too busy to fulfill your obligation to your mother and to your father, you're too busy. Too busy. We need to look at Jesus on the cross and remember the example that he set. My little mother was about 5 feet, maybe 1 inch tall, little short woman. And I have seen her do without that I might have things. I had 2 older sisters and an older brother. And I remember one time the older ones told Mother and Dad that they were ruining me. I thought they ought to keep the mouth shut myself, but anyway, you're ruining him. And I thought that and now I look back and I shouldn't have been this way, but I thought I had to have the best and have all of the right clothes that everybody had then, and baseball shoes and baseball gloves. Had to have all of that. And I've seen Mother do without, make sure that I had those kinds of things. There's just something about a mother. I was stationed at Fort Jackson, South Carolina. And I was doing things that my mother had taught me not to do. And I came home on leave. Now, I don't know, there's just something about a mother. I guess it's mother's intuition or something. But she sat there and got on to me for doing the things that I was doing, and that was 400 miles away from her. I've taught you better than that. Just Same thing today. We need to face our responsibilities and honor our mother and our fathers. And the third thing, not only Mary's love for Jesus and not only Jesus caring for his mother, but actually what he was telling John was, thirdly, John, take my place. He was simply saying, I want you to take my place and do my work for me. And you think about this. Jesus knew that John loved him. He knew that John loved him greatly, and therefore, Jesus knew that he would be the best one to take care of his mother. I don't know. These words really touch me. That Jesus was always thinking of someone else other than himself. Setting the example for us. And that's something I try to do in my pastoral ministry. And to think more of others and their needs than I do of myself. I think Jesus set that example. And he set that example for us today. As the shepherds of the flock under the great shepherd. So let me just say this. Don't keep me from being and doing what I love to do. That's ministering to you. That's what God called me to do, other than also to preach the word to you, but to take care and minister to the people. And you're not going to bother me if you call me when you go to the hospital, if you call me when a family member passes away, you call me for any need that you have. You're not going to bother me if you call me. But I'll tell you what, you will really bother me if you don't. So I'll close with this. Before long, as Jesus is hanging there on the cross, before long, it's going to be over. The figure on the central cross is still. The suffering is over. Death has come. Death in your place and in mine. Death that makes us forever alive. That prayer breakfast the other morning, there was a fellow pastor there that has cancer. And they were talking, he was talking about his wife was scared. And he said, I told my wife, I understand that you're scared, that I might leave you. But he said, you know what, I'm not scared. And I never thought about it this way. You may have. I hadn't thought about it this way. He said, honey, I'm going to win either way. He said, if the Lord heals me through this surgery, I win. He said, if he takes me home and I die, I win. And I thought, man, that is a great way to look at it. We're going to win if we're a Christian either way. So we see John obediently taking Mary to his own home, and that Jesus had requested him to do. And listen to this. Jesus has asked us to do certain things also. Our task is to live for Christ. and make him known to others. And I pray that we be as faithful and obedient as Mary and John were. Yes, Jesus remembered his mother from the cross. But he also remembered us, you and me. He gave his life to save us. And I thank him every day in my prayers for doing what he did for me. Not only for me, but for the whole world. Everyone has the choice to accept him or reject him. But he died on that cross for all of us. 7 words from the cross. I hope that you will see what Jesus did on the cross. And the next word, do Sunday night, would be the words where he says, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? And I'll give you a little snip of that. Is actually what Jesus is saying. Jesus and God had been just like that. Always been together. And even when he was here on the earth, he was in fellowship with God and talking to him, especially, in Garden of Gethsemane.